The scene that usually causes us to question and reflect our own actions is the red and blue pill scene. The choice to know what is behind the curtain or to continue to live in ignorance. Is it better to live in a fantasy or accept the harsh reality? To live in the simulation or the real world? Welcome to Matrix Explained.
Welcome to the desert of the real.
Thomas Anderson lived like any other person in the Matrix, connected to a simulation of which he was not aware of, but did suspect that something was off with reality. The infamous hacker Morpheus disconnected Mr. Anderson from the simulation and gave him a new life in the nightmarish real world, a war zone where humans live underground. The character Cypher despised the real world. He desperately wanted to be reconnected to the simulation because there is no peace or happiness in the real world. He felt like he was cheated out of a better life. When Neo realized what the Matrix was, he asked Morpheus if he could return.
I can't go back, can I?
No.
The situation in the real world was so bad that even the One thought of returning to the simulation. For Cypher, the answer to the question of which world was better was the simulation.
All I do is what he tells me to do. If I gotta choose between that and the Matrix, I choose the Matrix.
We, the audience, and the red pills do not see the simulation as a real world, but the machines do. Programs like the Oracle classify the Matrix as one of two worlds. The fate of both worlds would be in Neo's hands or in Smith's. Sati will change both worlds.
Smith.
Very soon, he's going to have the power to destroy this world, but I believe he won't stop there. He can't. Tonight, the future of both worlds will be in your hands or in his.
Smith also told Neo that the simulation was his world.
This is my world! My world!
For the humans and programs that live in the Matrix, the simulation is real. It is just as real as our world. Now then, Morpheus welcomed Neo by saying, "Welcome to the real world." Then inside the construct, he questions Neo what is real to him.
What is real? How do you define real? If you're talking about what you can feel, what you can smell, what you can taste and see, then real is simply electrical signals interpreted by your brain.
This presents a dilemma that Morpheus himself overlooked. Based on his words, the real is what we experience subjectively. Both the Matrix and Zion are experienced through our senses, so both worlds would be equally as important and real. The Matrix programs understood this, thus why they refer to the simulation as a world. To understand the importance of this, we must take a minute to observe our reality. Currently, scientists around the world are studying the theory that our reality is a simulation. Industry moguls like Elon Musk or Neil Tyson have spoken publicly about the high probability that we are living in a simulation. How would it make you feel if this theory is proven correct? Will it render your life in the simulation meaningless? Pointless? Will your life be less important if the rules that govern this universe were based on mathematical equations and non-natural laws? The answer is simple. We as conscious beings experience this world through our senses and experiences. We are subject to the consequences of our actions. We do not act as if we were living in a video game, even if we were. So for us, it would make no difference in our lives if we lived in a simulation. It would only change our perception of our origin. What makes reality real is not objectivity, because the objective reality cannot be confirmed. What makes reality real and important is our perception of it. This brings us back to the subject of the Matrix. When a human takes the red pill and wakes up in the real world, they join the resistance. Not much of a choice, really. The human enters a world of horrors as real as their perception of the simulation. For the red pills, the real world or Zion and the Matrix are the same, at least subconsciously. Choosing Zion over the simulation would only be for ethical reasons or principle, a sense of duty or responsibility, choosing to fight and suffer to free humanity from a prison. Ethically, this is the right thing to do. It's the selfless thing to do. However, living in the real world can bring out the worst in people. In Matrix Reloaded, we learn that Zion is part of the Matrix. Not that it is a computer simulator, but because it is a machine's system of control. In the end, Cypher was right. It was better to be in the simulation because it didn't make a difference where they were. Both worlds were controlled by the machines. There is no reason to want to live in Zion other than for foolish hope that someday humans can retake the planet. For collective idealism, not for personal reasons. It makes no difference living in the Matrix or in Zion, but the simulation gives you a much higher chance of living a happier life. As we've mentioned before, the Matrix uses religious and political allegories. Some people prefer to keep believing in whatever their beliefs are solely because it makes them happy. Living without their beliefs, without their religions or politics, takes away their identity. In our world, we see such simulations all the time. Recently, a popular influencer, whose platform is based on her tasting or eating ice cream, was caught on video taking a selfie with some ice cream, then throwing it in the trash. If you look at her Instagram, she looks like a huge lover of the frozen treat, but in reality, she isn't. Social media is its own simulation of reality. So how can we differentiate reality from fantasy if we are surrounded by simulations? This is the desert of the real. We are surrounded by simulations that borrow from reality and create this hyper-reality, a reality that is a reflection of a distorted version of what's real. Reality is replaced. We live between simulacra and simulations. The answer to the question of which is better, the Matrix or Zion, is probably neither, because both are equally as important. Maybe we should ask ourselves about the simulations we've created and currently live in. Can we escape from them? Or would we even want to? Maybe this video is a simulation, telling you how to think, how to feel, how to question reality. But in the end, it does not touch the realm of reality. It keeps you in a social network, such as YouTube, adding to your own little bubble of what you think reality is. But do you agree? Would you choose to live in the comfort of a simulation or live in the harsh conditions of the real world? For Matrix Explained, please leave a like and subscribe. And thank you for visiting the Desert of the Real.